See the properties of alpha, beta and gamma radiations. Now in this chapter, generally 1-2 mark question regarding some properties is asked in the boards. It's very easy once you learn it in a comparative form like this, it is very easy, and everything that is mentioned in the textbook, that is all the values like mass of all the proton and all that need not be remembered. Few things you have to know, so that is written here. Now we will compare the property of alpha, beta and gamma. For example, first property is the nature of the particle. What is that particle exactly? Alpha particle is positively charged particles. It is equivalent to the helium nucleus, not the helium atom. Helium atom will have 2 electrons also. We are doing nuclear physics, we are only dealing with the nucleus. So alpha particle is equivalent to the helium nucleus, which has 2 protons and 2 neutrons. So you should immediately think that this thing has got 2 protons, 2 neutrons. So it will have 2 positive charge. That means charge of 2 protons. Its mass will be equivalent to the mass of 2 protons and 2 neutrons, or you can say 4 protons. Because protons, neutrons mass is almost same. So it can be said that it is the mass of 4 protons or 4 neutrons. So this is relatively heavy as compared to the other two. That is why when we had seen the deflection, I had told you it comes out a bit and then only goes towards the negative terminal. It is not as easily deflected as beta, which as soon as it comes out, the deflection happens in case of beta, because it is extremely light. So remember, this is an important question. What is it equivalent to? It is equivalent to helium का only nucleus. Nucleus में क्या है? Nucleus has protons and neutrons, so it is equivalent to helium nucleus, not any electrons in the outer orbits. Now beta particles stream of negatively charged particles, that is energetic electrons. So its energetic electrons, it is equivalent to an electron. So its charge is its charge is -1, but mass is very low. Electron mass, almost negligible mass, very small mass, but you can't say zero. It is having some mass, but it is extremely small. But charge is the charge of 1 electron, that is, it has unit negative charge. This has double positive charge. So which has more charge? This, because it has charge of 2 protons. This has charge of only 1 electron. And gamma radiations are high energetic electromagnetic radiations. You have already seen that in electromagnetic spectrum also, that gamma radiations are high energy electromagnetic radiations. Now speed. Alpha particles travel with speed of 10 raised to 7 meter per second. So they are the slowest. Now beta particles is 2.7 into 10 raised to 8. So this was 10 raised to 7, that is 10 raised to 8, but only 2.7, not speed of light, but 90% the speed of light. Gamma radiations travel at speed of 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second in vacuum or air. So that is, gamma radiations are the fastest, they travel with the speed of light. So gamma radiations are the fastest among all the three, and alpha is the slowest. Rest mass. See, rest mass is given because you know that when these particles travel, they are not traveling at 10 meter per second speed and all. They are traveling with huge speed. They are traveling with speed of almost the speed of light. So that is why you have learned in 9th standard, when the speed tends to the speed of light, or the speed of a particle is greater than 10 raised to 6 meter per second, the mass slightly decreases. So we are not considering all that. We are going with plain simple things. That's why we are writing the word rest mass when the object is at rest. When the alpha particle, beta particle or gamma radiation is at rest. So rest mass is the mass when it is at rest. For alpha particles, it is, as I told you, mass of 4 protons. Basically it is 2 protons and 2 neutrons. It is equivalent to helium nucleus. So 4 times the mass of a proton. Beta particle, the mass is equivalent to the mass of an electron. Means it has mass but very small. The particle which has no mass is gamma radiation. Sometimes they ask, Which particle has no mass? It is gamma radiation, don't write beta. Beta has mass of 1 electron. So maximum is for alpha, less is for beta, and no mass or absolutely no mass is gamma. That's why it is called radiation, whereas these both are called particles. You don't write alpha radiation, you write alpha particle, beta particle. Gamma is a radiation. And charge, this has charge of 2 protons. Proton electron charge is same, 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. But proton is positive and electron is negative. So the difference is in the sign. So now here charge 2 times the charge of a proton. So plus 3.2 into 10 raised to minus 19. This has got unit negative charge, that is charge of 1 electron, 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. And last one, that doesn't have any charge. You've seen it in the diagram. It goes straight undeviated. It is going straight undeviated. It is neither moving towards positive or negative terminal. Effect of an electric or magnetic field. So now this has got mass. And of course it has charge, so it will get deflected in electric and magnetic field. But since its mass is more than beta, it will get less deflected. Alpha gets less deflected. You saw it comes out and then it moves. Whereas beta has much less mass. It has got charge, so it gets attracted towards the other terminal. Means if this is going to the left, that will go to the right. Because on the left it will be probably the negative terminal of the cell, electric cell. So that is why alpha particle is going towards negatively charged terminal. Whereas beta will go in the other direction. Beta is negatively charged, so it will travel towards the positive terminal. So, but the deflection will be more. Why? Because beta has very less mass. Gamma radiations are unaffected in electric and magnetic field. It goes straight undeviated. Ionizing power, see, the more the charge of a particle, the greater is its ionizing power. So maximum charge is for alpha, so it is having maximum ionizing power 10,000 times the ionizing power of gamma radiation. Now beta particle also ionizes because it has charge, but it's got less. It has got 100 times that of gamma, means it is much less than alpha, but it is greater than gamma. Gamma radiations, because of the high speed and high energy, they do ionize particles, but it is minimum. And last is penetrating power. We have got 2 more, which I will write again, the 8th and the 9th point, biological damage and what stops those material. But penetrating power, the penetrating power of alpha particles is very small. It can just travel 3 to 8 centimeters in air and then it falls. So it doesn't have much of a penetrating power. Now beta particles are having a larger penetrating power. It can travel few meters in air and then it collapses. And gamma radiations have extremely large penetrating power. That is, it is 100 meters almost in air. It can travel through your bone and skin. So it can cause, that is the reason why it can cause maximum biological damage, because it can alter our DNA. So that can cause genetic disorders also. So gamma radiations are very, very harmful. The most harmful for biological damage, that is gamma radiations. So now the last 2 I will write it in the next frame on top. That is the 8th point, what stops these substances, what material is used, and the biological damage of alpha, beta and gamma. That is the 8th and the 9th point. So the last 2 properties, stopping substance means what will stop an alpha particle. So you have thin paper or human skin, so it will not penetrate the human skin. Alpha particle has less penetrating power. Beta particle around 1 mm thick lead, means 1 mm means 1/10 of a centimeter. That it's a small foil, you can say, 5 mm thick aluminum foil. So very thin foils that can stop the beta particle. because beta has more penetration than alpha, so it requires thicker substances. And last is gamma. Gamma requires about 30 centimeter thick lead sheet. It should be 30 centimeter thick lead sheet. That means 30 centimeter is this foot ruler. 30 centimeter lead sheet is required to stop, and it should be lead because lead has got very high density. It is a very thick and strong substance. Mass per unit volume is very high. So it requires lead. Or it should be few meters thick concrete, means huge concrete slabs are used for the reactor walls in a nuclear power station. The reason is gamma radiations can penetrate and come out, and that's very high energetic radiations. So you require 30 centimeter thick lead sheet and few meter thick concrete slabs to prevent that gamma radiations from escaping to the atmosphere. Because if they escape to the atmosphere, they cause immense damage, gamma radiations. They can even cause genetic disorders. So biological damage is least by alpha particles. It is more in case of beta particles, but it is less than gamma. And gamma radiations cause immense damage. Why? Because first of all, it is high energy, and second, it is having very high penetrating power. So it can easily penetrate through human skin and bone also. So it can damage and cause genetic disorders. So maximum biological damage is gamma particles. So based on these properties, sometimes you get questions like which is the fastest of the three. So you will have to say that it is gamma. Which has maximum ionizing power? You will have to say it is alpha. Which causes maximum biological damage? You will have to say it is gamma. Which has maximum penetrating power? Again, gamma. So those answers, like that questions are asked for 1 mark. Those are simple answers. You learn the chart very well. That covers all the properties. Now we have to see the next part, that is law of radioactive disintegration or decay. So what will happen when the nucleus of a radioactive element emits one alpha particle? When alpha is thrown out of the nucleus, what will happen? Very simple. Alpha emission is what? Alpha is what? You had just seen in the properties of alpha first thing that it is 2 protons and 2 neutrons. So the nucleus has got rid of 2 protons and 2 neutrons. So when the nucleus has got rid of 2 protons and 2 neutrons, obviously the mass will go down by 2 plus 2, 4. And atomic number is what? Number of protons. So the atomic number will go down by 2. So that is what is written here. If any radioactive element emits an alpha particle, its mass number decreases by 4 and atomic number decreases by 2 and it becomes a new element. Obviously, if the atomic number changes, the element changes. You know that the modern periodic table is based on atomic number. So number 1 hydrogen, number 2 helium. You can't have one element having 2 different atomic numbers. So when the number of protons change, the atomic number is changing. It is becoming a brand new element. So its atomic number has changed, means it becomes another element. The original element is known as the parent nucleus, and the new nucleus that is formed is called the daughter nucleus. The new nucleus will have mass number less by 4 and atomic number is decreased by 2. Mass number decreases by 2 because 2 protons and 2 neutrons together is reduced from the original nucleus. And atomic number decreases by 2 because there are 2 protons which has decreased and atomic number is number of protons. So now in this reactions, balancing reaction in this nuclear physics means the total mass of the left hand side should add up to the total mass of the right hand side. So here you are saying that this is the daughter nucleus and outside what has gone? It is the alpha particle. Alpha particle is what? Equivalent to helium nucleus, which has 2 protons and 2 neutrons. Why 4? 2 protons and 2 neutrons is having mass of 4. So A minus 4 plus 4 will give you A. Z minus 2 plus 2 will give you Z. So in case of radioactive decay, the mass number and the atomic number is conserved. So that is conserved. Now if they ask you what is the definition of alpha emission, you will have to write this. If an unstable nucleus has number of neutrons much more than number of protons, it may emit a particle containing 2 protons and 2 neutrons tightly bound together, known as an alpha particle. So it is emitting a radioactive nucleus which is unstable. It may emit 2 protons and 2 neutrons tightly bound together, which is known as an alpha particle. And this is the general reaction for alpha decay. This is an element X. None of them in the periodic table like that, but it is an element X with atomic number A and atomic number Z and mass number A. Mass number decreases by 4 and atomic number will decrease by 2. And one helium nucleus, that is one alpha particle, is emitted. So now we will see an example of alpha, like we can take uranium and uranium 95 to 38 and see what will it get converted to when it emits an alpha particle. So please note all this in your notebooks. So here in this case we are seeing the example of alpha decay for uranium 92 to 38. As you know, in this is the number of protons. So 92 protons are there, and 238 minus 92, 238 minus 92, that is 146 neutrons are there. So 92 protons and 146 neutrons is there in the nucleus of uranium. So let's see what happens when it emits an alpha particle. What is an alpha particle? It is the helium nucleus. So it is 2 protons and 2 neutrons. See, alpha particle is not helium nucleus. It is equivalent to a helium nucleus because it has the same mass and same charge. So that means it has 2 protons and 2 neutrons. So that is why the mass decreases by 2, the atomic number decreases by 2, and mass number will decrease by 4, because mass of 2 protons and 2 neutrons adds up to 4. So that is why you will see that 238 will become 234 when the mass decreases by 4. And atomic number is decreasing by 2 because there are 2 protons which is emitted. So minus 2 protons. So 92 minus 2 will become 90. Now when atomic number has changed from 92 to 90, it becomes a new element. So it's no longer uranium, it has become thorium and it will have properties of thorium. So that original element is called parent nucleus, the nucleus of the element, and this will be known as daughter nucleus. And besides this, what is emitted out is one alpha particle, which is basically 2 protons and 2 neutrons. So now if you add this 234 plus 4, you will get 238. That means the mass is conserved, and 90 plus 2 gives you 92. So it is, even the atomic number is conserved. So this is an example of an alpha decay in case of uranium 92-238. Uranium 92-238 will be called the parent nucleus, and thorium 90-234 will be the daughter nucleus. In your board exams, you get one reaction like this to complete. So it's very simple. If it is alpha, mass decreases by 4 and atomic number decreases by 2. So that's it. That's what you have to write. There is no big confusion like a lot of equations or anything. Any alpha decay, the same thing happens. Mass decreases by 4 and atomic number decreases by 2. And of course you will have to show what decay is taking place, so that particle will be emitted out. So in this case it is alpha particle. Now let's go on to the second type of decay that happens, that is beta emission or beta decay. When an unstable nucleus contains neutrons more than protons. So this is the basic condition, that the unstable nucleus should have more neutrons than the number of protons. a neutron may change into a proton. So now neutron is becoming a proton. Neutron was neutral, it is becoming positively charged, means inside the neutron there may be some negatively charged particle which is thrown out. So net positive charge effect is there on the neutron. So the neutron becomes a proton by emitting an electron. The electron given out from the nucleus at a high speed is called a beta particle. Obviously now something new you are learning. You've learned that there is only protons and neutrons inside the nucleus. We are not disputing that. There is no electron inside the nucleus. That means there is no negative charge inside the nucleus. But to explain beta emission, what we say is that a neutron is becoming a proton. So that means mass is not changing because only one neutron is becoming a proton. But there is a change in the charge. That means there is a change in the number of neutrons. A neutron becomes a proton, so proton increases by 1. Number of protons increased by 1 means atomic number has increased by 1. Whereas the mass, neutron becoming proton, no change in mass. Because एक गया एक आया, mass change नहीं हो, mass remains same. Because mass of neutron and proton is same. But neutron was neutral, now it became a positively charged proton. That means the atomic number has increased by 1. So if they ask you what happens in a beta emission or define a beta emission, you are supposed to write this. Where an unstable nucleus contains neutrons more than protons, a neutron may change into a proton. Neutron may change into a proton by emitting an electron. The electron given out from the nucleus at a high speed is called a beta particle. The electron given out of the nucleus at a high speed is called a beta particle. Now this what you just wrote is shown in the form of an equation like neutron. Neutron has no charge. Its mass is 1. It is becoming a proton. It is now having positive charge. Mass remains the same as neutron. And it gives out an electron. So electron has unit negative charge. So when you add this, it becomes 0. And when you add 1 plus 0, it remains 1. And this is V. On top of V, you have shown a bar. So this is known as an anti-neutrino. You need not learn about all that. If this equation is asked, it has never been asked. But if they ask you what is a beta decay, you can show this equation and write this V bar is an anti-neutrino, that is another particle emitted out from the nucleus that is not in your syllabus. So now we go to represent the equation of a beta decay and an example of that. How do you represent a beta decay? Like you are taking any parent nucleus, let's say P. It has atomic number A and mass number Z. Atomic number Z and mass number is A. So atomic number increases by 1. Why does atomic number increase by 1? Because the number of protons has increased by 1. So atomic number has increased by 1, so it is a new element. It won't remain the same. You know that the modern periodic table is based on atomic number, and if atomic number changes, the element changes. So you can't call it P now anymore. It becomes something else. It becomes Q, some other element, which has got atomic number Z plus 1. Mass is not changing because you had neutron changing to proton, so that doesn't change the mass. And an electron, that is a beta particle, is emitted. So we had seen a beta particle is equivalent to an electron, which has unit negative charge and negligible mass. So now if you see an example of what you are writing, you can say carbon 614. This is radioisotope of carbon. We had done that. Carbon has 3 isotopes. So this is the radioisotope of carbon. When carbon emits a beta particle, this is a beta particle, it converts and its mass number remains same, 14 remains same, but atomic number increases by 1. So it's no longer 6. 6 in the periodic table atomic number is carbon. So now it becomes 7. So 7 is no longer carbon, it has become nitrogen. So it becomes nitrogen and one beta particle or one electron is emitted. So the net conclusion of beta decay is that if a particle, in case of beta decay, atomic number increases by 1, and mass number remains unchanged. So if a radioactive nucleus emits a beta particle, there is atomic number increasing by 1 because number of protons has increased by 1, and mass number remains unchanged. So basically it is a neutron changing to a proton by emitting an electron. So this is all about beta emission. Now we go on to the last law of radioactive disintegration or radioactive decay, that is gamma emission. So now next is gamma emission. In many cases, alpha and beta emission is followed by gamma emission. So it is not necessary that every alpha and beta should be followed by gamma emission, but it happens if the parent nucleus or daughter nucleus has excess energy. If either of the nucleus has excess energy, some particle is released, that radiation which is released, that excess energy is released in the form of electromagnetic radiation or gamma radiation. So in gamma radiation, there is no change in the number of protons or neutrons, hence there is no change in mass number or atomic number. Only some energy is released in the form of gamma radiation, which is an electromagnetic radiation. So this star over element X means that element X has got excess energy, it is in excited state. So that is, it has excited state or excess energy. So that excess energy is released in the form of gamma radiation and it becomes an element without that excess energy. It is the same thing. The element has not changed, X remains X because atomic number and mass number has not changed at all. So parent nucleus and daughter nucleus, the only difference is parent nucleus is having excess energy and the daughter nucleus has become stable without that excess energy, that it has come back to its ground state. Now I'll just tell you what is left in this chapter, because most of those questions we will be seeing in the Zoom session because we will be covering it in board questions. So in the next frame I am just writing you what remains, what will be covered in the Zoom session. So we saw the three types of decay, that is alpha decay, beta decay and gamma emission. Now here few things you have to be clear about. The electron emitted in beta decay does not already exist in the nucleus. Like you have never learned that electrons are there in the nucleus. You always learn neutrons and protons are there, that is correct. Now what is this emitted? It is just created because one neutron converts to a proton. So we are saying that a negative charge is removed from the neutron, making it a proton, and that negative charge is immediately thrown out from the nucleus. That is what is known as beta decay. It is not that an electron is already existing in any nucleus. There is no electron inside the nucleus. Just the neutron converts to proton, and when the charge conversion happens, the neutron is giving out a negative charge. So that negative charge is immediately emitted out from the nucleus. In a single decay, in one single decay, alpha and beta particles are never given out together or simultaneously. There may be either an alpha emission or a beta emission, not both together, which could be accompanied by gamma, because if the alpha emission happens and the nucleus, either parent or daughter, is having excess energy, then some gamma radiation may happen from that. But alpha and beta are never happening simultaneously. The daughter nucleus formed after alpha or beta emission may still be radioactive. For example, you saw uranium-92-238, it emitted an alpha particle and it got converted to thorium, thorium-90 and 234. Now thorium is also having atomic number greater than 82, so thorium is also radioactive. So that process will continue. Now thorium may emit alpha or beta and there could be change in mass number and atomic number, and that process of emission will continue till a stable nucleus is formed. That means till an element is formed whose atomic number is 82 or less than 82. So that process will continue. Now, the things that we will be seeing in the Zoom lecture when we're doing the board questions and which has to be learned, which is there in the portion and it is important, is uses of radioisotopes. You've learned that cobalt 2760 is a radioisotope of cobalt. Then you have carbon 16, carbon 614. Carbon 14 is used in radioactive decay into radioactive dating to find the age of fossil fuels. So all that uses of radioisotopes, medical uses, scientific uses, industrial uses, that we will be seeing in the Zoom session. Sources of harmful radiation. Like there is radioactive elements present in nature, like uranium and thorium and polonium is there in nature. So there are places where there is more radioactivity, but usually that is under control. So where are those sources? Then if there is a nuclear power plant, there is a lot of chance that nearby there should not be any settlement, because in case of any leakage that could be disastrous. Harmful effect of these radiations on human beings and on our future generations, that is another thing. Now safety precautions which has to be taken when someone is working with radioactive elements, like in maybe in any nuclear power plant where nuclear fuel is used, or in any nuclear laboratory. And what is background radiation? Background radiation means everywhere there is, you have seen the spectrum, gamma radiations exist. But that is in very small amount, which is very harmless. But that also we have to see what is meant by background radiations. So these we will be seeing in the board questions in Zoom. With that, we complete this topic of nuclear physics, that is radioactivity. Second part, that is nuclear fission and fusion, is not there for you this year in your syllabus. It has been deleted. Bye students, take care.